Good day, everyone. I'm Andrea Mitchell in Washington, where President Biden is taking last-minute steps to try to help Democrats in close races, trying to hold on to congressional majorities. Today's focus, bringing down those gas prices. He'll be explaining his plan to release another 15 million barrels of oil from the Strategic Petroleum Reserve in December, with more potentially coming later this winter. It is a relatively small release, but what does it mean for the long term? Joining me now, Gene Sperling, senior advisor to the president. So, Gene, we've seen the polls. Voters say their focus is solidly on the economy and on inflation. This release will not happen until December, although maybe the price comes down because markets are anticipating it. What is being done to help hurting Americans, though, right now as we head into the midterms?
Well, let's remember that this 15 million that is being announced now for December is the completion of 180 million released from the Strategic Petroleum Reserve. I was involved in two previous releases under President Obama and President Clinton that were 30 to 33 million. This is 5-6 times larger. It's historic, and we know it's made a difference. You know, yes, we had a couple of weeks where prices drifted up, but let's remember a couple of things. Today, gas prices are $1.17 below their peak in June. Oil prices are actually a little lower than they were when OPEC Plus made their unfortunate decision to cut supplies. And you're seeing that in 16 states, gas prices are $3.50 below or below. So this is not something that he's just doing right now. This has been part of his focus to help bring down prices and, recognize that families are dealing with the global inflation that's everywhere post-pandemic, and part of his effort to do everything he can to lower prices, from gas prices to hearing aids to prescription drugs to other energy products.
Well, I mean, the prices, they did go back up again, about 5 cents last week. So maybe now they're coming down again. They're going to bump up and down. But this is not going to help in terms of the midterms. I mean, the voters seem to be really focused on inflation, on the economy. So despite the low job numbers, which actually is helping to feed inflation, nothing seems to be bringing down inflation. The Fed has already made these big moves, and they're going to have to make them again.
Well, again, I want to come back on the gas prices because, you had almost 100 days of straight declines. You did have a couple of weeks where there were refinery problems that raised prices, but it's not just down, 7 cents nationally. It's down over 30 cents in California. It's down over 15 cents in places like Michigan, Nevada, Wisconsin. So the prices are starting to come down, and I think that is just one of the positive things that is happening because of the action that the president is taking. And ultimately, we have inflation that is over 9% almost everywhere in the globe. And the question that Americans have to ask is who's fighting for them? Who is sitting on the sidelines and carping, and who's taking consistent action? And this effort with the Strategic Petroleum Reserve, the effort to encourage oil companies to invest more in refinery capacity so we can keep gas prices coming down, what you've just seen on hearing aids, what you've seen on prescription drugs. These are the proof that it is President Biden and I believe the Democrats in Congress who are waking up every day and actually asking practically and tangibly, what can we do to help lower costs and the price of raising a family for typical families. Certainly, the people who are benefiting from the student loan debt relief are feeling that benefit. Certainly, the 14 million people who are going to get health care at $800 cheaper are feeling those benefits. All of those things don't make up for the toughness of those higher prices at the grocery line, but it does show who is fighting every day on behalf of those working families.
Gene, leading Democrats in Congress are demanding, getting back to the gas prices, that the president punish the Saudis for siding with Russia, boosting oil prices by cutting production at the worst possible time for the White House, even after that summit in July, which was controversial. Realistically, what can the White House do to hurt such an important strategic defense partner, especially one that's aligned with the United States against Iran and other threats in the region?
Well, I think what they did was disturbing because it was an action that gave the appearance of seeking to support Russia and their revenues and keep oil prices higher at a time that Russia is engaged in an unthinkable war of aggression. I think it is worth noting, though, that this effort has not worked well, that actually oil prices today are lower than they were at the moment that Saudi Arabia made that unfortunate decision. I'm not going to make foreign policy news here, but I think it's something the president and I think a lot of people in Congress find very disturbing, and I think it's going to be a subject of serious discussion going forward.
You're certainly signaling something is going to be done. In a separate move, you've referenced this, the IRS is adjusting tax brackets. It means a larger standard deduction, a big one, potentially less money taken from your paycheck for the 2023 tax year, meaning the taxes you pay in 2024. So who's going to benefit most?
Well, obviously, you know, there are some times that there are effects of inflation that do help moderate costs. What you saw that in the COLA increase for seniors, that historic increase is going to mean a lot for people on fixed incomes. But our goal still, Andrea, is to do everything we can to bring costs down. It's frustrating to see prices high, but I think there's a lot of signs, from new leases on rents to higher inventories and projections of aggressive discounting at the Christmas season, both in stores and online. And you know, we are hopeful that prices will start to move in the right direction, and that because so many Americans are working, we are more resilient and better transitioned to deal with the difficult steps being taken to tame inflation without it taking back all the historic gains that we have made for jobs and the labor market.
Given the latest inflation report, it's clear the Fed isn't done yet. In fact, it hasn't really had an impact yet. 100% of the Wall Street Journal's economic forecasters are predicting a recession. Why did the president say so confidently last week that any recession, if it does occur, would be slight? Isn't that another rosy scenario?
You know, Andrea, in the first 8-9 months of this year, we have had the highest job growth, but all but 2 years in the history of our country, other than 1946 and 2000 and last year in 2021. So having the third highest job growth in the first 9 months of the year in the history of the country is not the type of signs that you normally associate with the downturn. And right now, you see the Federal Reserve in Atlanta and others are projecting growth, pretty solid growth for the third quarter. So we still think that people are underestimating the resilience of the United States, resilience of our workforce and the consumer, the fact that unlike after the Great Recession, state and local governments, due to the American Rescue Plan, are not being forced to lay off and contract. So again, we still feel that we are better positioned than virtually any other country in the world to withstand these tough measures to tame inflation while still keeping a strong labor force and not giving up all these historic gains we've seen over the last 2 years.
Gene Sperling, thank you very much. Thanks for coming on from the White House today.
Thanks, Andrea.